That's it.
Does my hair look
Perfect.
okay?
Yeah, your hair looks
Does Kris
gorgeous.
look-
You've had your hair done, haven't you? It looks lovely.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so just to see, yeah, I can see that's it. All of you now. Perfect.
All right, are we ready? I'm like,
One take.
let's see. Oh, no, look at this pressure. One take. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, Sim Talk. Guys, listen, I am so excited today. We are joined by the wonderful Kris. Kris, tell us just briefly about what you do.
My name is Kris Foster. I am part of an organisation. I'm the co-founder of an organisation called Open Book, a platform where we celebrate and educate those with disabilities.
And what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave your information. He's on Instagram. He's on a few social media platforms, and I'm going to leave that in the description box. But make sure you give Kris a follow. He's doing amazing things in the community. So Kris, I'm just going to go over there now and interview you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Fantastic, Kris. So speaking of disabilities, please can you share with us what your disability is?
So my disability is I have Down syndrome and I am autistic.
Okay. And Kris, tell us a little bit more. So you said Down syndrome and autism.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so I have Down syndrome, what means I have an extra chromosome. And I call that chromosome the love gene. You know, for me personally, growing up with Downs, in the days of where it was a bit of a taboo conversation, but growing up now and seeing more representation, it puts us more in a more positive place, but we still are the most marginalized people, you know, of to date. So we have a lot more work to do, and I hope and I pray that myself, as well as others I know in my community, that we can be positive role models to the next generation. I'm also autistic. You know, I was diagnosed when I was 5 years old, and I was non-verbal until I was 8. You know, for myself being autistic, you know, life was a struggle, and went through many trials and tribulations, not just within the school system, but in the community as well. So it was a challenge, but you know, I'm grateful and thankful that I had a great network and family around me to support me, so I could navigate into society to where I'm at to date.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Kris. So Kris, you mentioned about some challenges. Would you mind just sharing some of the challenges that you faced?
Yeah, you know, I grew up in a special needs school. The sad reality of that was, as much as the school were great, but the reality is that we never allowed to dream and have the goals and the opportunities that we could sort of see today with other children that are neurodiverse or have a syndrome. For myself, I was told that I had to fit into society. So that means when you get told that you have to fit into society, it's basically saying that that you don't really exist in a society that we're in now. But you know, I'm grateful and thankful to God, and you know, I don't hide the fact that I am a Christian, and my faith has helped me along my journey. But I feel that with that, I can, you know, put myself in a position where it can come across a bit more positive, and we can kind of change the perspective and the narrative of those who are neurodiverse as well as syndromes. We can challenge the perceptions, and we can educate, you know, families, but at the same time brands and organizations, so we can go out there and, you know, get more people that have disabilities to be seen and be recognized.
That's fantastic. Kris, you mentioned about being a Christian.
Yeah.
How have you found the church? Have you found them to be supportive? Has there been challenges within the church?
The sad truth, Sim, is there has been challenges. And I don't necessarily believe it was because of me being autistic. I found faith when I was 21 years old. I wasn't born in a Christian household. So I found God, in personal situations. But I feel that because of having Down syndrome, there was many challenges within that. Families wouldn't want to sit next to me because of the fact of they might be seen if the camcorder goes around. But I'm grateful for my pastor that allowed me to sit next to him alongside his wife, and kind of really brought me up in the faith. I would go to Bible study on a Thursday where the elders would be around me, and I loved the elders, and I would come in with my children's Bible, and I would be reading the children's stories within the Bible study, and what was amazing about that is it had no relevance to what the Bible study was about, but it showed me compassion, it showed me love, and it educated me to be an ordained pastor today, the first Down syndrome pastor globally in the world.
Well done. I've got to clap you for that. Well done, Kris. That is amazing. What a massive achievement.
As I say, it took me 8 years to get my doctorate, but I went out there and I'd done it. Hard work, determination, and great support.
That's fantastic. So you speak about support. Who was your support network?
I think, a massive support network for me was obviously family. My mum and my dad, they were absolutely amazing. My dad would leave home at 6 o'clock in the morning and come home at 8 o'clock at night, to support and to provide. My dad's dream and ambition was to move us out of North London, and for me never to know what a mortgage is. And sadly, my dad passed away in 2013, but his prayer come into fruition where me and my brother don't have a mortgage.
That is brilliant. That is so good. Through your experiences, you're saying you have found, you had to fight against some challenges. Did you feel supported in your school setting?
The early days, no. The sad truth is I grew up in a time where autism was never really looked at. So in the education system, we were still valued as being slow and being stupid, and we never had the support of what today's generation have got. I fell through the cracks, and the sad reality is falling through the cracks, that what that did for my confidence was broken. But in the home, my mum took it upon herself to leave her career and fully focus on learning what autism and other disabilities are. So my mum became a teaching assistant at a special needs school, and she sacrificed her whole career for the sake of myself. A woman that I truly admire, respect, get very emotional when I speak about my mum, because when it comes down to, we hear parents that make sacrifices, my mum made the ultimate sacrifice and sacrificed her life choices for the sake of her son.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Amazing, incredible woman.
What does disability look like for you?
That's a great question. What does disability look like for me? If you have a moment, go to Google, type in the word disability and go to images, and tell me what you see. I'll tell you exactly what you see. You'll see individuals in wheelchairs until you get to like the 20th photo, then you'll see a young Down syndrome boy who's covered in paint. the fact of the matter is this: disability, you know, is more than just those within wheelchairs. I think it was 1964 when that symbol was actually drawn out to government. Disability is bigger than that. Now we get more awareness and we're seeing what disability looks like in so many forms, not just within physical disabilities, but also to the unseen disability as well. And some of that is in regarding of mental health. And you know what, I think in every degree, everyone has a form of a disability. But you know, one thing I will say is that we need to collectively come together so we can change that and change that symbol, because I think that symbol now is quite damaging. But we fight, we push, and then hopefully in my generation, we'll be able to see a brighter day.
That's brilliant, Kris. That's so much food for thought, because, you know, the amount of times I've spoken to other parents who have got into an argument over the disabled parking because people are expecting to see someone in a wheelchair. And yes, of course, there's disabled people in wheelchair, but also it's a hidden disability.
Absolutely.
So to the naked eye, that person might not look disabled. Kris, what message do you have for, you know, some people that are watching this, they have a child with a disability or more than one child with a disability. There's also others that we're just raising awareness for. What message do you have for them?
For me, it's quite simple. Never write off any child. I was non-verbal till I was 8 years old. Society ripped me off. They said I would never leave my mother and father's side, and now I've just put a deposit on a second property. You know, when it comes down to it, you know, you don't write off anybody. And my biggest goal and dream is to see more people with physical disabilities within the workspace. That is my passion. That is where I'm trying to push. With the platform that we have called Open Book, that is what we're pushing, to have conversations with brands and organizations to see everybody, to be really inclusive. One thing we learned in 2020 in the atrocities of when George Floyd was brutally murdered is we had a conversation about equality and what equality looks like. People with disabilities are still fighting that battle today, and we need your support and we need your help. So if we can collectively come in one accord, we can bring forth that change, so we can then have people not just like myself, but even yourself, Sim, that we can collectively come together and we can see every child have their dreams and ambitions to come into fruition.
Thank you so much for that.
It's been a blessing.
Do you know what? I'm just, guys, I don't know how you feel, but I'm just like amazed, because
I appreciate you.
You know, there's so many times where me as a parent and so many other people, we can feel a certain way about our children, but to actually have the voice of someone like yourself,
I appreciate
with
you.
your disability, but you've not let that keep you back, your own voice about your own experience. I know that's going to speak volume to so much people out there. So once
I really
again,
appreciate it.
Thank you for that time. And as I said at the start, I'll put all of Kris's information in the description box. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. One final thought now. I'll say this. God never dissed the ability in me. Just be aware, all things are possible.
So as I end each video, you know, this is not a sprint, it's a marathon, and we're in this together.
Absolutely.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.